Good morning, it's Wednesday, 7th of March, and I'm Tom Elliott. Dad's away this week, so I'll be doing the report. All sorts of things have happened since last week. Of course, Australia now has a new foreign minister. In a process that would have mystified many voters, a retired former New South Wales Premier in the form of Bob Carr was set to replace Mark Arbib, the so-called faceless man, or one of the faceless men from the Labor Party. Mark Arbib resigned, Bob Carr takes his spot, and lo and behold, suddenly Bob Carr is the foreign minister. Astonishing stuff, but it is in line with the Australian Constitution and was approved by the New South Wales Parliament just a couple of days ago. So, Bob Carr is our new foreign minister. Interestingly, the similarly named but unrelated Kim Carr was pretty much dumped from the inner ministry as a result of the Prime Minister's cabinet shake-up. It'll be interesting to see how well Bob Carr performs in foreign affairs. It's certainly an area of passion of his, but how, for example, he opposed Australia having any influence over the intervention in Libya, and of course that intervention was seen to be a reasonably successful thing. So we will see. On the economic front today, there was some rather average data revealed. Now, at about 11:30 this morning, the Reserve Bank, the ABS came out and released the December quarter GDP numbers. They weren't good. GDP rose only 0.4% in the 3 months to December. Now, it's up 2.3% for the full 2011 year. But if you annualise the December number, that is, if we just continued having the same rate of growth in December, GDP this year might only go up 1%. And interestingly, of the 0.4% increase, 0.3 was an increase in inventories, which suggests that really there's almost no growth at all in the Australian economy. Now this raises the question, what is the Reserve Bank thinking? On yesterday, the Reserve Bank left interest rates on hold, the same thing that they did last month, being February. Now, I think that the Reserve Bank should have cut rates, and I think now that if this low economic growth continues, they will cut rates. That would be a good thing, and it's already been reflected in the Australian dollar, which has dropped from 107 cents to about 105.4 cents in the last 24 hours. The problem, however, is that even if the Reserve Bank does drop rates another 25 or 50 basis points, it is by no means certain that the commercial banks in Australia will follow. Indeed, many of them actually increased their rates over the past month. The Bendigo Bank, one of the smaller banks, was the most recent one to do that. Banks' cost of funding internationally has risen slightly. The Reserve Bank has admitted as much. And in doing so, what the Reserve Bank is really saying is that it no longer controls monetary policy in Australia. Yes, it can set the overnight cash rate, the so-called official rate of interest, but I think from this point on, the big banks will pretty much ignore it. And my view is that the big banks' funding costs will probably continue to rise, not massively, but a bit. As a result, I don't see the real cost of borrowing changing either for households or businesses in the near future. And in fact, just to sort of underline that particular opinion, the ANZ did a retail bond issue a few weeks ago. They paid 7.2% for the money. Now, right now, you as a home borrower can get a fixed loan for 2 to 3 years from the ANZ at around about 6%. How long is this going to last? If the ANZ's new money costs it over 7%, it's not going to be lending money at 6% for very much longer. So my advice, I'm not normally in the business of giving financial advice, is that you go out there and lock in at least part of your home loan rate very soon. All right, it's an interesting time at the moment. Greece appears to have frightened the markets overnight. Shares today here are down 1%. They were down over 1% yesterday. US markets were smashed overnight. Still a very, very nervous time on international exchanges. I'll be back with more next week.